China has been giving Elon Musk a hard time about his Starlink satellites, and they won't be stopping anytime soon. The Chinese government, which likes to control information, sees Musk's satellite system as a threat and is willing to take it down if needed. But SpaceX has made a new improvement to Starlink that might make them think twice before acting. What kind of improvement does Starlink get this time, and how does it affect regular users like us? SpaceX says that the latest upgrade will make Starlink even better and faster than before, and it has added defenses that weren't there in the previous versions. Let's see if SpaceX can deliver on that promise. However, before we begin our video, we would greatly appreciate it if you would subscribe to our YouTube channel and also press the bell icon. Now let's get started. In 2019, Elon Musk entered the Chinese market when he opened a large factory in Shanghai. This happened during a difficult time as the United States and China had a trade war. The Chinese government was happy about Musk's electric vehicle company coming to their market. However, when it comes to SpaceX, another business of Musk's, the Chinese government has a different opinion. They see Starlink, the satellite system, as a threat to their control of information and security. They worry that the United States could use it for spying or surveillance purposes. The satellites could collect sensitive information about the Chinese military and government activities. There are concerns that this information could be sold to China's enemies, worsening the already tense relationships between Washington and Beijing. China has already prohibited Elon Musk from selling Starlink in their country. This is mainly because of its involvement in the Russian-Ukraine war. It's highly unlikely that Musk would go against the Chinese government's decision and sell Starlink there, especially since he has other business interests in China. Even if Starlink were allowed, the communist regime would insist on heavily censoring its content. However, Elon Musk strongly values freedom of speech, so he wouldn't agree to such a condition. If China had any plans to destroy the Starlink satellites to neutralize the threat they pose, it wouldn't be possible anymore because SpaceX has introduced its latest V2 satellites. If you spend a lot of time online for fun or work, having a bad internet connection can be frustrating. Just think about how much time you could waste waiting for videos to load or being on a Zoom call where nobody can hear you properly. That's why Starlink is so great. It offers a fast and reliable connection with speeds of up to 100 megabits per second. It even reaches remote areas that usually have limited access to the internet. That's why more than 1 million people have already become Starlink users, and the number keeps growing. And now, Starlink has a new satellite that can handle the increasing number of users and their need for speed. The new V2 mini satellites, which are the future of Starlink's satellite system, were launched on February 27th. These satellites are an upgraded version of the previous V1.5 satellites and were sent into space using the Falcon 9 rocket. Despite their small size, don't underestimate them. A single V2 mini satellite can serve 4 times as many users as the V1.5 satellites. SpaceX designed them to provide fast internet directly to your phone or laptop, no matter where you are in the world. With more powerful antennas and access to new frequencies, each V2 mini satellite can provide 50% more network capacity than its predecessor. This means a better internet connection for remote areas across the globe. One problem that users have complained about with Starlink is decreased internet speed. This is mainly because many people have started using the platform. However, SpaceX has a solution for this with the V2 satellites. Once most of these satellites are launched and operational, it will reduce the load on the current satellite network. This means that the areas covered by the new satellites will be able to serve more users to provide higher bandwidth to existing customers. The upgrades in the V2 mini satellites are quite interesting. SpaceX has equipped these satellites with advanced Argon Hall thrusters for the first time. These thrusters have more than twice the power of the thrusters used in other satellites. This means that if there are any problems or China tries to shoot down the satellites, SpaceX's ground operators can quickly move them to a safer position and protect their investment. This also applies to space debris. Despite the many satellites launched by SpaceX, you won't be able to see them when you look up at the night sky. The V2 minis have been fitted with special technologies like SpaceX's dielectric mirror film and low reflectivity black paint. These help to reflect sunlight away from the satellites and make them less visible in the night sky. In the beginning, the idea was to use the Starship rocket to launch the first V2 satellites because they are very large. Everyone thought the Starship would be ready by now, but as you know, that didn't happen. Instead, SpaceX made smaller, lighter satellites called the V2 Minis. This made it easier to launch them into space. However, SpaceX still intends to launch bigger satellites when they can. They plan to have a group of about 29,998 satellites in total. However, not everyone is thrilled about SpaceX's ambitious plans, and their concerns are straightforward. According to experts, launching a large number of satellites into low orbit could impact star observation and astronomical research. Additionally, when these satellites become inactive or damaged, they could contribute to the growing problem of space debris and potentially cause harm to other important space structures. Nevertheless, SpaceX remains confident and sees no cause for worry. They have introduced a new reflective feature in their satellites, ensuring that researchers can still study the stars without interference. Furthermore, the recent upgrades have enhanced the stability and reliability of the network, which is likely to attract even more customers. With China's plans to launch 13,000 satellites to compete with SpaceX and monitor their satellite system, SpaceX must maintain its position as the top satellite service provider. Their goal is to provide reliable internet access to millions of people with limited or no internet access. However, there seems to be another concern for SpaceX regarding their Starlink satellites. Observers watching the recently launched V2 Minis have noticed a problem. Instead of rising to reach their intended operational orbit, these satellites have been falling. This is causing a lot of trouble for the company. You might remember that back in February, 40 of SpaceX's first-generation satellites were hit by a geomagnetic storm and burned up as they re-entered the Earth's atmosphere. While this was a setback, it didn't cause significant damage to their satellite constellation, as they already had thousands of satellites in space and more to launch. However, the issue of the new satellite deorbiting shortly after launch is quite bothersome. It's disappointing to invest millions of dollars in new technology only to see it fail in less than 2 months. Elon Musk has confirmed that the V2 Mini satellites are facing some issues. As a result, some of them will be taken out of orbit while others will undergo testing. On April 7th, one of these satellites was observed crashing down after a controlled deorbiting off the coast of California. Due to its size, the satellite likely burned up completely before reaching the ground. While SpaceX works on fixing the problems with its new satellites, they still plan to launch the remaining ones once the Starship is ready to handle the larger satellites. This will help maintain a stable broadband service to accommodate the growing number of customers and justify the changes in pricing. If you are in the United States, you might have received an email from SpaceX informing you about a 10% increase in the monthly plan if you are in an area with limited capacity. However, this increase won't be applicable everywhere. In some regions with excess capacity, the price will decrease by $20. And that's it for today. We hope you found our video interesting, and if you did, please give it a big thumbs up and share it with others. Also, if you haven't already, please consider subscribing to our channel. And don't forget to turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any of our new uploads. In the end, thanks for watching and see you next time.